A few months in and I am still digging the deck. For the first little while I was using it mainly to chew through my Steam backlog, got a little bit way through it, but I was taking this thing with me everywhere. And since I was taking it with me everywhere, I had the idea that this might make for the perfect portable local multiplayer machine. And well, yes, technically you could play local multiplayer just on the Steam Deck itself. It's going to make a whole lot more sense to hook it up to a much bigger screen. And that's where these come in. These are two of the simplest ways to get your deck docked. I picked this one up around the time that I got my deck because it was one of the only options at the time that gave you 4K 60. You get HDMI, obviously, USB-C for power in, an extra USB-C, a couple of USB-As, headphone jack, and a couple of SD card readers. So pretty well rounded overall. Pro tip with this one out of experience, because I've done it a lot, make sure that if you're plugging power in, you're plugging it into the actual PD in port and not the regular USB-C. It'll still work, it'll still give you video, but you will not be charging your deck. I do this way too much. But this is one that I was really interested in because I've been wanting something like this, because there's stuff like this for the Switch. Those just don't support the resolutions and don't have enough juice to really run a Steam Deck. This thing does. This will give you up to 60 watts on the USB-C port, which is more than enough for a deck, and you can do 4K 60 and it works about goddamn time. That combined with the fact that this thing is so tiny makes it a game changer, because this, with the included cable, fit perfectly into the Steam Deck case, making it an absolute no-brainer to use this instead of the charger. It's about the same size, if not even a little smaller, and it fits in the case. Why wouldn't you do this? Well, there actually are some reasons why you might not want to use this. The included cable is pretty short, only about 3.5 feet long. If you want to use a longer cable, you can. You're just gonna have to try a bunch before you find one that works, most likely. Most of the cables that I have lying around the house are power only, and those will work for charging, but you will not get video out. Important to note, the included cable obviously works, it's just a little bit short. The next one might be a little bit obvious, but placement can be a little bit tricky. You got to make sure that the HDMI cable can reach wherever you're plugging this into power. For a permanent install, this is going to be a non-issue, of course, but since I take this over to friends and family's places, my power options aren't always ideal for cabling, so just keep that in mind. The dongle, in comparison, while less interesting, honestly, it is way more flexible, because if you pair it with a charger that uses interchangeable cables like this, you can use basically whatever cable you want as long as it's rated for the power that you need. These cables, for example, are rated for up to 100 watts or 6 foot, and I bought a pack of 2 of these for around 10 bucks. Crazy. And if you want to plug stuff in, this gives you way more options. You get 2 full-size USB-As, an extra USB-C, and a couple of SD card readers, while the other dock, all you get is a singular USB-A port. So way more flexible on that end. Now, what I normally daily drive in my Steam Deck case is this big old charger. This can charge up to 3 devices, up to 108 watts. Overkill for the Steam Deck, but it is so handy when I'm traveling. But for shorter trips, I am definitely going to be switching to this, just because it is so compact and lets me dock while taking up about the same space as the original charger for the Steam Deck. Hard to argue with that. I've already done it with my daily driver charger, but definitely if you're going to be going with the smaller dock, get used some heavy duty Velcro. This stuff is amazing, because you don't want to just trust the elastic. It'll definitely slip, I can tell you from experience. Put some on this, put the other end on the actual case, and as long as you do a pretty good job applying it, just hold firm pressure on it for about the first 30 seconds that you're applying it, this thing will stick, and there's just no way in hell it's gonna come out. One extra pro tip for y'all in case you are new to docking in SteamOS. Currently, if you launch a game, default settings, it will lock you to a max of 720p inside of the game, because that's what the screen on the actual Steam Deck is set to. If you want to change that, exit the game, go into settings, properties, and under general, you want to change the resolution of the game to be whatever you want. I usually aim for 1080p. That's usually pretty doable for most games. Some lighter games, you can go up to 4K. Some heavier games, you might want to go down again or just leave it at 720. Right now, you have to do that for each game. Now, once you relaunch the game, you'll see that you have the option to go all the way up to whatever resolution you set to. Hopefully all this info gets you on your way to a more convenient docking experience, local multiplayer or not. All the stuff we talked about is going to be linked in the description down below. Subscribe to the channel for more Steam Deck content. Thanks for watching. See ya.